The Biden administration has attempted to, I think that a week ago, they might have sensed that there was some action at the international multilateral level, and they issued their intent to sanction one unit in the Israeli military. And I think this is a way to sort of deflect and make it seem like they were still serious about human rights. It's called Netzah Yehuda, and this is a unit that is responsible for heinous war crimes, including in the West Bank, and which is comprised of ultra-Orthodox soldiers who tend to be some of the least professional, most poorly trained soldiers, because the Israeli state is so desperate to involve the ultra-Orthodox, who tend to not participate in military service and do not contribute to society, which pays for their Torah religious education. There's so much friction between them and the secular Tel Avivians, and so there's this push to get them into the military, and they created this unit for them. And they've gone out and basically tortured people in the West Bank, including an 80-year-old Palestinian man who had American citizenship, and they left him to freeze to death. His name is Omar Assad. So Blinken announced their intention to sanction this unit, but it turns out that they're just not going to do it. Biden refuses to sanction Israeli units behind gross war crimes. This is the cradle. Biden has decided against imposing sanctions on Israeli units responsible for human rights violations, despite initial plans to do so. The assessment, which has not been made public, was outlined in a letter written by Blinken to Speaker Mike Johnson. And in announcing that they were planning initially to sanction this unit, the Biden administration said that the sanctions would not delay the delivery of any U.S. assistance, and Israel will be able to receive the full amount appropriated by Congress. So they can still proceed with the genocide unhindered. But now, basically, what the State Department is saying is that Israel has provided new information and new facts, which have convinced them that they should postpone the sanctioning of this unit, which raided an 80-year-old man's home in the West Bank during the rainy season in the West Bank. It's very cold. It's very damp. It gets to be like below freezing, and they left him outside and let him freeze to death. And he's an American. So there was an interesting or revealing exchange at the State Department today. What I call like the best unintentional comedy open mic in Washington. Go ahead.
Well, just to be clear, this is all for abuses, crimes that happened before October 7th.
Yes.
So this is like, they're not even looking at what's happened since October 7th. So they're just trying to catch up on these old cases. And yeah, initially they found 5 units guilty of crimes. Then they claim, the State Department claimed that 4 of them have taken actions that remediate the abuses. So they're good. Now there's only 1 left that they're still looking at. So it's like, even this case itself is like, there's so many levels of a cover up here. Before October 7th, not even looking at anything since, clearing 4 out of 5 units after initially finding them guilty. And, so anyway, now this.
Here's Vedant Patel under questioning from a Reuters journalist.
So the US government has conducted a process, found that these units have conducted gross violations of human rights. That sounds very serious, but you won't tell us what those violations were, who committed them, and you're going to continue to send weapons to them.
That is a process that is consistent with the standards that we have with other countries as well. You have to remember, Israel is a country in which we have a long-standing security relationship with. Other countries similar in this grouping, I would say, would include the government in terms of the kinds of relationship we have, include Ukraine, include Egypt. And in those kinds of countries, there is a proactive vetting of the whole security universe, a constant evaluation in close consultations with our embassies and consulates, NGOs, civil society, media reporting on the ground as to assess what is happening in those countries. And so consistent with that process, we not in a place to share publicly the specific components of their security services in which this is applicable to.
Yeah, so they're he's just basically saying we have a special relationship with them, so we're not going to sanction them after all. Remarkable. Remarkable stuff. And what's and as Aaron mentioned, this has nothing to do with Gaza. This is about an incident where basically soldiers of this unit tortured an old man to death. The evidence is there. The evidence is public. Meanwhile, atrocities continue in Gaza day after day.